My name is Glenn Bartlett. I'm a sergeant with the Spokane Police Department, our Major Crimes Unit, and recently supervised our Special Victims Unit. I've been in law enforcement for coming up on 27 years, um, and I really the entire time is we're always dealing with protecting children. From my first days as a patrol officer responding to child abuse calls, all the way up through supervising our detectives that investigate and follow up on those initial reports. Most often, our child abuse reports start with a patrol officer or a citizen reporting uh, concerns they may have, observations they have, potential child abuse. There's we go from a patrol officer typically to a detective assigned who has special training um, in child abuse investigations. Uh, from there, we work with many of our partner agencies. First and foremost is always protection of the child, and how can we ensure that that child is protected, um, and then we move forward through the investigation and potential criminal charges, if there are any. And that is always a challenge for our detectives. We're working with sometimes non-verbal children. We have to look at the physical evidence, assess that. We rely on medical professionals as well as experts that are trained in forensic interviewing that are not influence a child's account of what happened if they are a verbal child. And it's not as simple as we have an injury and this is who caused that. It takes an extensive investigation many times to get to that point. So I chose to apply for the supervisor of our Special Victims Unit. I believe there's no more vulnerable population than our children. I mean, from infants all the way up until teenage years. Um, and I think we as a society, me, myself, and law enforcement can contribute to creating a safe environment for our children. That is just so important. We don't want to miss potentially dangerous situations. And if we can intervene early, even if it's not in a criminal facet, but if we can work with our partner agencies, DCYF, to provide to direct services to parents, because many times these are neglect cases. They're not always intentional crimes that are committed. But if we can intervene earlier on and identify some of those dangerous situations, and either intervene through enforcement or through education, that's ultimately what we want is to keep those children safe. So that's something that's been near and dear to my heart for since I've been in law enforcement. I think it's important, and I think we all have a role, no matter what our job is to step up and say, we have these concerns and do everything we can within our power. I've learned that these investigations really take a toll on everybody, from detectives that I'm responsible for, or at least I want to make sure their well-being is, or I'm concerned about their well-being, and we have to take care of ourselves. Anybody that's involved in this type of work, it does take an emotional toll. It's draining, and you never know what case that's going to be that makes you lose sleep at night. Um, I've had many. I know my detectives have, but we talk to each other. Um, we watch out for each other in that and do everything we can. So we do have that self care there, or we can help with services. And just maybe it might be as simple as unplugging a detective for just a short period of time, so they are healthy, and that's good for the citizens of Spokane. That's good for the investigations. That's good for the detectives. So it really it's a win across the board for everyone. But that is something, especially in law enforcement, in my position, that I really pay close attention to with that. For myself, um, yeah, I know when it's time for me to unplug. Family members will tell me, there's those signs that we all know, and we watch those and being, I guess, watching closely enough to recognize that, hey, and listen to other people that say, hey, you know what, you may want to just take a step back from that. So that's something we do monitor quite regularly.